Saxons have always seen themselves as a privileged group. I mean, my ancestors were Irish who came here and had a horrible time. My great-grandfather actually hid their Irish roots just because upward mobility demanded that in the type work he was doing.
Right. But upward mobility was so central to the aspirations of Jews and many other people, particularly after the...
Well, that's why a lot of people come here, isn't it?
It's definitely one of the motivations, although most of the family that I have that came here to avoid being...
Persecution.
Yeah, because in 1880, the Tsar declared that his policy would be 1/3 of the Jews have to leave, 1/3 of the Jews have to be killed, and 1/3 of the Jews have to be forced to convert to Christianity.
Right.
And that was just an expression of the reality that had been really since at least the time of Constantine, about 320 BC of the current era.
Well, the Jewish community, they were always the release the government used for the pressure on the people. It was all to direct. I mean, this was done in England.
Yes.
You know, it was done in France. It was done in Spain. I mean, so many places. It's a way, I think, of getting around the real problems that are engulfing us.
Yeah.
And I think greed seems to be at the root of a lot of these problems.
I agree, it is. And what I want to say is that both my book, which I'll get to in a second, but the Torah, is deeply concerned about this issue, and in particular, letting people insisting that people at least draw strong boundaries around that. And one of those boundaries is that for 6 days a week you can work, but on the Shabbos, on Sabbath,
you have to shut things down.
You can't touch money.
Right.
You can't buy anything. You can't. In other words, you can't get involved in the endless pursuit of more. Now, that has been a very strongly policed, as I should say, in the religious community.
Sure.
And when I became religious, it was a problem for my parents because I was saying, "Hey, you're not doing the right thing." But
on the Sabbath.
On the Sabbath, right? Because my father would go to synagogue, and afterwards he would say, "Okay, now I'm going to get this. I'm going to drive down to my workplace." So it was. He was a lawyer and worked a lot of the time. So. There was, and so there was Shabbos.
Right.
That was, but then there was something even more extreme: the Sabbatical year.
Right.
The Sabbatical year said that every 7th year, you can't work your land. Now, this was to a people who were totally
subsisted
agrarian.
on farming.
Yeah, farming was the whole way we lived. Instead, God said,
you leave it fallow, and then it replenishes.
You not only leave it fallow, but you make the land. The word was it's belongs to everyone.
Right.
It doesn't belong to you.
Like a commons.
It's like a commons for that year. So anybody who's hungry can come and eat. The animals who may be hungry.
Also the gleanings, even in the years that they harvested, the gleanings were always left for the poor people. I mean, that was true during every harvest, that you were supposed to leave anything that fell off your... Right, the gleanings, they called them.
Right. So, but on the 7th year,
it was...
you were not allowed. Now, you were allowed to pick something for yourself.
Sure.
But you could not pick anything that you were going to sell.
Right.
Okay? And you had to allow no boundaries that would keep out poor people or hungry or animals that were hungry.
Right.
Okay. So and then finally the culmination of that was the jubilee. The jubilee was
free the debts.
The 50th year in which all debts were canceled. And all and all ownership was canceled.
Right.
So everybody was sent back to wherever their original
again.
tribe was,
Right.
and you started all over.
Yeah.
Okay, so
These are genius solutions to a lot of problems.